Hey guys, welcome back to the channels. We got Thirsty's Lawn Care obviously running for his channel today, and then Wolf Lawn Care working for my channel. We just thought we'd talk about a little bit about invoicing and how we go about that, and how we collect payments from customers. So Greg, you were telling me a little bit about earlier how you collect invoices or send out invoices to collect payments. So how do you do that?
Yeah, being in the business for 8 years full time, this has always been something you're like trying to tweak and make it less work to collect payment. There's nothing worse than I bill monthly. I'm sure you bill monthly as well.
No, I actually bill differently. I bill once I'm done the. Well, I have a couple different ways I do it. Most of my clients, I bill as soon as I'm done the job, and then I give them 1 week to get the payment to me. That's how I do most of them.
Okay.
Most of my commercial clients, though, I do bill at the end of the month. And then I have a couple clients that I also bill that they just pay up front for the entire season, and then I just cut their lawns all season. But I don't really like doing it that way, because then I kind of feel like I'm working for free.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you get all the money up front and it's sweet and whatever, but then now the whole the whole entire season I'm just cutting, and I'm trying to get away from that.
It is a weird feeling, yeah.
So you bill monthly?
Yeah, so I bill everybody monthly. So maybe the last couple of years, I have like a core, let's say 60 customers that like do like 4 or 5 services, you know?
Right.
And in the spring, I'll look back at how long it took me to do the fall cleanup and how long it took me to do the spring cleanup.
Right.
And did I do hedge trimming for that person? Did I do fertilizing and overseeding? And I'll tweak the prices, like if seed costs more, or if I want to make if I need to make a little bit more on that hedge trimming job, then I will change that, send them out a proposed price for 2021 we're coming up on.
Right.
And then I'll divide those like 5 services that I provide throughout 6 months, or into 6 payments. So
Right.
a payment May 1st, June 1st, July 1st, and so
Right.
on.
Right.
And I make it very clear, and this is how you're gonna get an invoice every month, and I will send it out a week early to give you a chance to get organized. And
Right.
payment is expected May 1st, and it's went really well. I would really stress people, if you're very clear with a new customer that you just took on, if you're very clear with your expectations and you don't let them run the show at all, then they will either drop you, or they will respect that you're very organized and they will pay. But,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing too, is you know, there has to be a little bit of give and take between the customer and the company. Like, you know, what I find a lot too is like they like to haggle, and like, I don't know, like with being in the service industry, I kind of find it sometimes comical, because you know, like if you went to a mechanic shop or something and they tell you, okay, it's going to be, you know, I'm not a mechanic, so these, you know, any mechanics watching are probably going to laugh at me, but like $500 for a brake job, and then are you going to tell that mechanic that's going to, you know, do your brake job, no, I'll pay you $400? Like, it just doesn't really kind of make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had this happen? I had this happen like 2-3 weeks, well, more than that, a month ago probably. And I don't want to get too much into it, because I don't want to get into like complaining about customers, but have you ever had it where you've agreed on a price, and then you did the job, and then now after the job is complete, they're like, oh no, that was too much money because you did it too quickly? Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah, early on when I was quoting, I would have that problem.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to remember why that happens, but
Yeah.
they're maybe realize that you're new in the business, and maybe they're trying to see if they can.
But you've already agreed on the price.
Yeah.
Right. Like I had this happen like a month ago.
They see it. It was maybe by the way. I wonder if it was the way you went about quoting. You said like, it's going to take 2 hours. Like maybe you mentioned time.
Right.
And then they happened
Right.
to be there watching, and they saw that you were like an hour and 20
Right.
minutes.
To dive a little deeper into that story, I guess. So what happened with me was I agreed on a price, which I won't mention, to YouTube, but I agreed on the price for a fall cleanup, and I told him, I said, I'll get this and this and this done within this price, and he said, great. I called him back after it was done, and it was after the time change, so the sun had already gone down, whatever, and I called him back right away because I was still standing on his property. He knew it only took me like an hour to get it done.
Yeah.
And I even did 2 extra areas that he didn't even like, he mentioned he wanted them done, but I told him there's no way I have time. I ended up doing them as well, and then he tells me that I did it too quick, and he doesn't think that the price that I gave him was fair. But I basically had to tell him that I'm able to get these jobs done quick because I've got good equipment.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
It's like, yeah, it's frustrating because I could have brought out a BG56 or whatever and spent 10 hours doing the same job, but because I've got a BR800, I'm able to get it done so much quicker, right? It's kind of,
sure.
so it's you got to have a give and take between the customer, but like Craig said, like, you can't let them run the show either.
I kind of remember the problem is some customers might be used to, like, they hire a plumber for their house and their plumber charges $60 an hour labor, and they see a lawn care company come and maybe they've had like I'm trying to think of the word of the they've had a guy just show up with a car and a push mower, and his labor costs are really low,
right?
But we're a very organized company and we're trying to get our best value.
Exactly.
So they see that Tom finished in an hour, and they think, well, why is that worth that? Mm-hmm. But it seems like you explained why it was worth it because you have good equipment, and
he's not paying me by the hour. Like, he paid me for the job, which I ended up getting. I made a priority list with him. Before I started the job, I said, okay, what do you want done? Start, your highest priority. He said, I want the lawn, all the leaves off the lawn. And then he said next priority would be off the driveway. And then he said he's got 2 gardens by the lake that he wanted cleaned out. And then if I had time, he wanted under his dock, and then another garden over on the other side of the property done. So when I called him back, I said, hey, guess what? I got everything done.
Yeah.
Which in the phone call before, I said, I won't be able to get the dock or the other garden done. So he was pleased with me.
Yeah.
But at that time, he didn't know how long it had taken me. So then he comes up to the cottage, whatever. He sees that I did a good job, but then, then he doesn't want to pay it, which, conclusion to the story, he did end up paying it. We're on good terms. He asked for business cards afterwards and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of funny that he's like, well, hang on, that only took you an hour. Why am I paying, this much money, right? It's the same with lawns. If you're running a zero turn, people don't understand if you've never ridden a zero turn, you've only ridden a tractor, like, zero turns are like at least 3 times quicker, maybe 4 times quicker than just a tractor. Because 1, you're driving faster, 2, you can make quicker, obviously, zero turn radius turns, and then you're also being able to cut in so much closer to all your, your trees and your gardens and your, walkways and whatever, so that your trimming time is cut down drastically. So I can cut a lawn on a zero turn way quicker than you could on a tractor. But that kind of leads me to another question. Do you ever charge by the hour, or do you just charge by the job?
Yeah, like, early on, you're trying to get any work you can get.
Yeah.
And
anyway.
Yeah, and that's the way you have to get established, and so it's tricky. So people would always ask, like, what's your hourly wage? Like, a lot of customers would ask.
Oh yeah, I get that all the time.
And I would, sometimes you would tell them what your hourly wage was, but most of the time you wanted to be priced by the job, but it was more like you're pushed to give them that answer.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely it does. Which kind of leads me to another thing. The reason I don't charge by the hour is not just because it might scare people off if I tell them it's whatever, how much per hour, but kind of also the other reason I don't charge by the hour is, like, I like to be able to take a break when I need to, and I don't want the customer, looking out their window and being like, well, why is he on his phone taking a phone call? Why is he having a lunch or a snack right now when he's getting paid by the hour? Like, I like just doing it by the job. That way I can work as efficiently and quickly as I possibly can, with still maintaining the level of, quality service that I want to strive to provide. But, that's really why I don't charge by the hour.
Yeah. And this kind of goes back to the way I, broke down all it into a monthly price.
Yeah.
Is it takes a lot of the questions out of, how many cuts did you do this month? Or it takes out, how long were you doing the spring cleanup? Hours, or if they came and asked you that question, you did it 2 hours quicker this year but they're not paying attention to you got a new BR800.
Exactly.
Or a new zero turn that's bigger.
60-inch versus 50-inch or whatever.
They already have agreed upon this fall cleanup or agreed upon this grass cutting. That's already agreed in May, and it's not as many discussions about did you come to do all the services. I'm completely honest with my customers. I don't try to price 18 cuts and only do 16. I show up 18 times. They know I do.
Right.
You're just trying to limit the amount of unpaid labor hours that you're talking to your customers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that kind of, I don't know, the initial question was
it's a
invoicing?
It's a huge topic because I feel like my system's working really well. We can get into it another time as well.
Yeah, obviously you've got a certain system that works well for you. Craig's been doing this for 8 years. I don't know if we mentioned that yet, but I just started officially in 2020. I've been doing it kind of unofficially, just as a side hustle for 3 or 4 years, but clearly that works for you. What works for me works for me. We don't all have to have the same plan. We're just kind of explaining, different, avenues of invoicing, and, there's probably more than just yours and mine as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So you use Yardbook to do your invoicing. So do I.
Yeah.
There's so many different features on Yardbook and it's a free service right now. Anyways, I don't know if they'll start to charge for it, but I don't pay for the premium account, and I'm running I don't want to give too many numbers away, but I cut maybe 25, 30 consistent lawns this year, and it makes everything seamless. You can attach your logo to the invoicing so it looks really professional. You got all your reports, your tax reports and your profit loss margins and all those things. So we're not sponsored by Yardbook by any means, but definitely check it out. If you're just starting out doing lawn care, or even if you are running a successful business and don't really know how to make your invoicing more seamless, but check out Yardbook. It's definitely worth the free payments. So either way, I don't know if we want to talk about anything else on that. We can cut it. Yeah, let's cut that there, and we'll bring you in another video on another topic in a couple minutes. We'll see you.